have you personally used a HELOC in your own life? And if so, kind of break that down for me and maybe go over some numbers about that and why you chose it.
Yeah. So one, we're not the types of people that would talk theory and offer a service or a strategy if it hasn't been something that we've done ourselves. Actually, I never even set out for this to be a business. I just explored this. Yes, long story short, yes, I've done it so many times. My first time executing on it was in 2011. So in 2009, it was actually a hedge fund manager that kind of explained how this works. At the time, I think my CEO told me it was worth $600 million. Our lending business had gotten capital from his hedge fund to resurrect after the 2008 meltdown. And so he would visit my office frequently. When I say frequently, probably once a quarter. Kind of check up on his money and make sure it's being spent wisely and he's got some kind of rate of return coming to him. And that's what his hedge fund does. It specializes in mortgage companies. Which, let's just stop there for a second. What are hedge funds doing? I mean, let's make it super simple what hedge funds do. They use other people's money to invest in things that get an exponential rate of return than the average person gets in a 401k, an IRA, et cetera, right? So we're told about, people like Dave Ramsey, bringing them up, Dave Ramsey, let's get in a mutual fund, let's get in a 401k, let's get in an IRA. Hedge funds get sometimes hundreds of % rate of return. Why would a hedge fund take other people's money and invest in mortgage companies if mortgage companies didn't make a lot of money? All right, let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit further. Why do mortgage companies make so much money? Because mortgages are super expensive to consumers. Where do you think profits come from? Profits come from consumers overspending. Well, that's a mortgage. That's why hedge funds invest in mortgage companies, because they're super profitable, because so many people don't know there's an alternative. And, let's just look at the math. If you do a 30-year mortgage, you're buying one house for you and one house for the lender. The first house for the lender is the one that gets paid off first. Then in the later years, that's when you start paying off your house. That's why it's so profitable, right?
You're talking about interest, right?
Yeah, interest on a mortgage. So this hedge fund manager who invests in mortgage companies is mentoring me. Didn't know he was going to mentor me. Just thought he was going to check up on his money and whatnot. But, I'm an opportunist. Like, he's worth $600 million. I think he's a billionaire today. So I'm like, yeah, I got to know what he knows. So that's when he explained it to me, how savvy people really borrow money this way. And you think about it, like businesses, if you've got a good CFO or financial analyst on your team, they're not going out and getting term loans. Like, yeah, give me a $500,000 60-month loan, right? Unless it's at a phenomenal interest rate. What they are more attracted to is lines of credit. Because do you think businesses have only, especially if it's a profitable business, do you think there's only one event that needs capital? No. If they're a profitable business, because in our community, we've got access to funds and affiliates, and we attract opportunities. And so, we look at our projection for 2025, and it's like, we could get in more heavily into these not our own funds, but the ones that we recommend, that we personally participate in. And we could get into digital real estate and look at the 53% rate of return on that. But then it just kind of came down. It's like, dollar for dollar, we would make more money reinvesting back into our business, right? That's just a smarter thing for us to do. So businesses are more attracted to lines of credit because they can, one, pay them off faster, but two, they can deploy capital or re-leverage that line of credit when another opportunity arises, or they want to reinvest back into the business. So if it works for businesses, and businesses succeed when they make smart decisions, right? Why is there not a correlation between what businesses do with their personal finance or business finance to what we do with our personal finance? There is a correlation. Lance. Lance has structured his family meetings very businesslike. He has family meetings 2 a year. He has First Fridays with his wife, where they go over financials. What's coming in, what's going out, what does his, next quarter look like, what does next year look like, et cetera. Because he's business minded, and he finally, and that's when I did the podcast with him, it dawned on me, it's like, holy crap, yeah. I mean, this is how I execute, or we execute on this business. We have level 10 meetings, we have quarterly meetups where we identify what's working, what's not working, how to solve that. Why shouldn't we do that as a family? We should. It works in business, it will work as a family too. So if businesses execute financially that way, then why aren't we doing it on a personal level? So we should, and we have the alternative to do so. The funds we recommend, we're in those. Digital real estate, we've done those. All the stuff that we do, infinite banking, I don't know how many policies I've got at this point and how many more I need to do. We do those. So yes, have I done a HELOC? The very first time was in 2011. I took, I believe it was a 4.25% mortgage rate and converted the whole thing into a home equity line of credit, and took all of my monthly income and dumped it in there. Long story short, it took 3.5 years to pay it off. So by 2016, it was mid 2016, the house had been paid off.
Wow.
So yeah, it works. And that's when I proved to myself, okay, what this hedge fund guy was telling me is true. Then it was another mentor that I was explaining what I do in my own personal finance. And he's like, dude, you need to turn that into a business. I was like, I never thought about that. So I can't pass these things off as original ideas. They're not. These,
Under the sun.
yeah. Now, I can't tell you how many HELOCs I've done over the last 12 years. I would say I average a different HELOC every year at this point. Some people will get in a mortgage and be like, that's the only mortgage I'm doing. And they don't refinance. And I can understand that, like 2020, I don't see those rates coming back again. But to say that you're not going to tap into the equity of your home or utilize something different, I get in HELOCs this year that will probably be different than I had last year. And there's a whole strategy behind that too.
Did you say that you get a HELOC on average at least once a year?
Uh-huh.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so especially with the environment that we're in now, with rates being higher than they were 3 or 4 years ago, banks have flooded the market with what's called promo rates, because banks still need new customers coming in the door. And you're not really attracting anybody by saying, hey, come in, we got a 9% home equity line of credit. They use a home equity line of credit as a loss leader for their business, because when you get a home equity line of credit, 90% of the time, guess what else you're getting with that product? Checking, savings. That's the most valuable thing to a bank is deposit accounts, core deposits, checking, savings, money market, CDs, et cetera. They want your money. Put it in our hands for good safekeeping, right? That's extremely profitable to them if you understand the entire banking system. So, but back to HELOCs, banks were like, okay, well, we need a trinket to bring people in the door. So they flooded the market with what's called promo rates. So you may have Bank A that has a 12-month promo rate of 4.5%. The lowest we've seen so far is in New York. It's 0% for 12 months. Bad news is they only lend in New York. But 0% for 12 months in New York. That's the lowest I've seen. But we've seen 1.99 for 12 months. We've seen some 3-year fixed ones, 5-year fixed ones, 7-year fixed, which means it's a lower rate, but it's fixed for 3, 5, 7. Obviously, the longer out it's fixed, the higher the interest rate is.
So are you refinancing from one into another each year on the same property, or are you buying multiple
Same property.
properties?
Yeah, same property. So let's say I've got a 1.99, and I did this successfully for almost 4 years. 1.99 on the property, and it's 12-month intro, right? But the HELOC was free, and that's another thing that people don't realize. A lot of HELOCs are free. It's not like a mortgage where it's costing you all the closing costs, origination fees, application fee, underwriting fee, all the stuff. So a lot of HELOCs are actually free.
Meaning they don't have closing costs? You can just refinance
Correct.
into it?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. Now, don't discount the ones that actually charge something too, because what we've discovered is banks are starting to get ahead of this and like, holy crap, this is a growing market. And there is a way to make money on this as a bank, not as much as a mortgage, but there's a way to make money as a bank. And it's also a way to protect our default rates. So these are just some of the benefits of utilizing a home equity line of credit. You can go deep down this rabbit hole. And if you want to do that, because this is super powerful, then just go to our website, replaceyouruniversity.com, and you can learn a lot more. Choose the carousel, replace your mortgage. Heck, if you want to skip a step, just go replaceyourmortgage.com. It'll take you right there, and it'll tell you almost everything you need to know about how to execute and do this.